78 Sports TV here. Good morning, YTBC. Shout out to the real boxing fans out there and to the haters. If you don't like my shit, you have no reason to be watching my shit. Um, I want to do this video today in response to a few messages I received. One guy I already responded to, but this other question is on the same along the same lines. He wanted to know about this YTBC race war shit. He wanted to know what was going on. He said that he really didn't want to make any videos until this shit was over with because he doesn't know what's going on, right? And he wanted me to explain it to him. And it's going to take too long to explain it to you in the comment. So what I'm going to do is do a video about this shit, right? He also asked me about Rigondeaux and asked me a few questions about Gennady Golovkin. I'm going to mix all of that up in one. It was the perfect fucking question for this. It was just perfect question. Perfect. All right, so this is what I'm going to do here. I would advise everybody, if you don't want to hear about race, you don't want to hear about double standards, you don't want to hear about any of this shit, I would advise you to click off of this video right now. Don't watch the video and then whine and complain about it later. Just click off of it now and go do something else. Everybody else, buckle your seatbelts, get your popcorn ready, have your drink, whatever the fuck you do early in the goddamn morning, because I'm finna get busy. 1 second here, let me blaze. All right, y'all, this is gonna take a while. I don't know how long, but I'm not on no time limit, so let's just get it rolling. First, let's start with Guillermo Rigondeaux, shall we? Guillermo Rigondeaux, his problems first started with defeating Nonito Donaire, okay? And let's go down memory lane here. Nonito Donaire was being groomed to be the next Manny Pacquiao. Donaire was moving through weight classes. He was kicking ass and taking names. Looked very impressive, Donaire. But there was this monkey on his back, if you will. You know, Everyone kept saying, he needs to fight Rigondeaux. Why is he avoiding Rigondeaux? And Rigondeaux, who was at the time was a virtually unknown guy, but he was one of the best amateurs of all time. You know, and he had a few professional fights, and you know, clearly he was highly skilled and one of the best pound for pound fighters in the sport. But Donaire was being touted as being the next Manny Pacquiao, being a pound for pound top guy, and a lot of investors have invested in Nonito Donaire's success. Roy Jones being one of them. But there were a lot of people who had serious investments in the success of Nonito Donaire. And Rigondeaux was supposed to be a stepping stone for Donaire, a fight to legitimize Donaire and prove that he can beat a top quality boxer, right? And that's all this was supposed to be, was a stepping stone for Nonito Donaire. Nobody even fathomed the idea of Rigondeaux actually winning this fight. At least they didn't. So what happens is Guillermo Rigondeaux gets paid $750,000 for this fight. Nonito Donaire gets paid 1 point something million for this fight. The fight itself did over 1 million viewers on HBO. Over 1 million viewers watched this fight on HBO between Rigo and Donaire. Now, in the fight was a very entertaining fight, very competitive. Well, not very competitive, but very entertaining. Very much so. This was a master class in boxing put on by Guillermo Rigondeaux. All right, beautiful boxing. Some of the most beautiful boxing and counter punching you will ever see in a professional fight. Okay, was done by Guillermo Rigondeaux. So at this moment, HBO and the investors of Nonito Donaire were just disgusted. They didn't know they were shocked. They didn't know what happened. I thought Donaire was supposed to win this fight. So people are pissed off. They're angry. They're mad. All right? Because Donaire was supposed to be the man. All right? Rigondeaux starts getting attacked for no reason whatsoever. Like, all he did was go in there and do his job. He beat the guy who was supposed to beat him. He upset the world. And it wasn't like it was a robbery or something. He beat Donaire's ass. And at this moment, Operation Fuck Rigondeaux, you know, was set in motion by Top Rank and HBO. And this is how they accomplished that. Rigondeaux's next opponent would be, I believe it was Joseph Ebeko. Okay, HBO put him in with Joseph Ebeko. Rigondeaux did not choose Ebeko. HBO and Top Rank chose Joseph Ebeko for Guillermo Rigondeaux. Okay, and this is all a part of Operation Fuck Rigondeaux. What they did was Joseph Ebeko, who was another guy going through different weight classes, bouncing around different weights, you know, who was a very exciting fighter, come forward, throw a lot of punches type of guy, crowd pleasing type of guy, Joseph Ebeko, but still a virtually unknown guy, and they put him in with Rigondeaux, thinking that the styles would be a perfect match. Rigondeaux being the counterpuncher, the outboxer, Ebeko being the reckless, come forward guy, very aggressive, throws a lot of punches, and maybe that could, bring some sparks into the ring. And what happened is Rigondeaux just cleanly outboxed Joseph Ebeko. Ebeko at the time, I think, was being trained by Roger Mayweather. Okay? And Ebeko did not do what he was brought in to do, which was be aggressive and throw a lot of punches, be a crowd pleaser. He did not do that. He was getting counterpunched, he was getting tagged, and he wanted nothing to do with being aggressive and reckless against Rigondeaux because he knew a knockout was inevitable. Okay? Now, because of Ebeko's lackluster performance, HBO chose to shit on Rigondeaux for Ebeko's lackluster performance. Rigondeaux, mind you, did nothing wrong. He fought a fight. Ebeko is the guy who did not do what he was brought in to do. So HBO, in the commentary, even Top Rank, and the other Nonito Donaire investors in the media decided to bash and hate on Guillermo Rigondeaux and act as if it was his job to make this an entertaining fight by any means. Like he was supposed to fly in with his chin wide in the air and just recklessly fight Ebeko. Okay, it was a setup, absolutely a setup. That fight did 550,000 viewers on HBO, and that's what they wanted. They wanted it to be a horrible fucking performance, horrible ratings, so that they can bash Rigondeaux. But I say this: what HBO and the haters don't tell you is this: they put Rigondeaux versus Ebeko on, competing with, at the same time, competing with Zab Judah versus Paulie Malignaggi for the Battle of Brooklyn over on Showtime. So while the networks are having a dick swinging contest competing with each other, and I keep telling people, there's only a little over 1 million hardcore boxing fans that consistently watch boxing on a regular basis. So when the networks compete against each other, you're doing yourself a disservice. All right? The casual fans come along when the big guys fight. The Mayweathers, the Pacquiaos, and shit like that. That's when the casual fans come along. They don't come along and watch fucking, the average fighter. So the networks are hurting themselves when they compete against each other. But this is what they did anyway. People started leaving HBO's telecast who were watching Rigondeaux versus Ebeko and watching the Paulie Malignaggi fight. And you know why they did that? Because HBO's sitting over there, instead of telling people what they're watching and getting fans excited and educating them about the sport of boxing, HBO is sitting there saying, oh, well, this is not a very entertaining fight, guys. You might as well just change the goddamn channel because, this is not a good fight. Pretty much what they were saying. And what ended up happening is, after that fight, they blamed everything on Rigondeaux, of course. It was his fault that he whooped Ebeko's ass, and Ebeko didn't do anything to stop it. Operation Fuck Over Rigondeaux was in motion. So, at the time, the years of 2014, 2015, okay, Guillermo Rigondeaux was the WBA and the WBO 122-pound champion of the world. You understand? I repeat, he was the WBA and he was the WBO champion. Okay? The remaining champions were guys like Scott Quigg, okay? Who I think Scott Quigg held the regular WBA championship, because they got 2 belts and all that bullshit. And I believe Carl Frampton had the IBF, or it was either reverse or something like that. But the remaining champions were Scott Quigg, Carl Frampton, and Leo Santa Cruz, who had the WBC title. Okay? Scott Quigg, Carl Frampton, and Leo Santa Cruz. I repeat that, all right? So these were the guys, and Kiko Martinez as well. He was in there. I think Kiko Martinez may have had the IBF belt, if I'm not mistaken. And Frampton beat him for that belt, if I'm not mistaken. Somebody beat him for that belt. But Rigondeaux wanted Kiko Martinez. He wanted Leo Santa Cruz. He wanted Carl Frampton. He wanted Scott Quigg. He got none of those fights. These are other champions. While Rigondeaux is in a pursuit to be undisputed and to prove that he is the best in his division, have all of the belts, those other champions, Leo Santa Cruz, Carl Frampton, Scott Quigg, Kiko Martinez, wanted nothing to do with Guillermo Rigondeaux. Openly, blatantly ducked this man with no shame. And you know how they got away with this? They got away with this because Rigondeaux's own promoter, Top Rank, Rigondeaux's own network, HBO, the boxing media, who secretly had money invested in the success of Nonito Donaire, who were so upset, all took part in bashing Guillermo Rigondeaux for no fucking reason whatsoever. None whatsoever. Bashing this man. So these other champions had every fucking excuse in the world to duck Guillermo Rigondeaux and pretend like, hey, this guy ain't bringing no money to the table. Oh, nobody's interested in that fight. His own promoter doesn't even want to see him fight. His networks don't want to see him fight. So it was the perfect excuse to be ducked by these guys. Now, in the rankings of the top 10, besides the champions, because I know people are going to say, well, Rigondeaux could have fought some of the guys who were ranked in the top 10, even if Scott Quigg and Carl Frampton, Leo Santa Cruz, and Kiko Martinez were ducking him, why wasn't Rigondeaux fighting some of the other guys in the top 10? Oh, how easily we forget, okay? Do you remember a guy in the top 10 by the name of Chris Avalos? Remember that guy? Chris Avalos? The WBA ordered Rigondeaux to face Chris Avalos when the other champions refused to fight Rigondeaux. They ordered Chris Avalos versus Rigondeaux. And what happened in that fight? That's right, the fight never happened because Chris Avalos said, never mind, guys, I don't want a title shot. I don't want to fight Rigondeaux. Now, this is a guy in the top 10 who's not even a champion, doesn't want to fight a champion for 2 fucking belts. Didn't want to fight him. And it was excusable to boxing fans, okay? So now, Rigondeaux, now I want to make this very fucking clear here, okay? As I'm talking here. I'm talking about the people at 122 pounds where Rigondeaux was the champion, okay? That's what I'm talking about here. At 122 pounds, this man was ducked by Scott Quigg. I will keep repeating these goddamn names. Scott Quigg, Leo Santa Cruz, Kiko Martinez, and Carl Frampton. Do you understand that? He was ducked by those guys. There is no my opinion. There is no maybe or do you have evidence? This is a fact. These guys did not want to fight Guillermo Rigondeaux. And they had all the excuses in the world. Chris Avalos, a guy ranked in the top 10, also did not want to fight Guillermo Rigondeaux. The rest of the guys at that weight division were nobodies. A bunch of no-name guys from different countries that nobody ever fucking heard of. That's who those guys were. And Rigondeaux did the best he could, he couldn't fight other champions to unify, and he couldn't fight guys in the top 10 who were decent because they had an excuse not to fight him. So what was this guy supposed to do? So then the WBA and WBO basically strip him of his titles for being ducked. They stripped him for being ducked. Okay? Then the WBA says, okay, we're going to change that and make you champion in recess. And we're going to let Carl Frampton and Scott Quigg fight for your fucking belt. All right? And then the winner has to fight you. We're going to make sure. We're going to mandate that the winner fights you. And so we all know the story. Carl Frampton defeats Scott Quigg. And Rigondeaux is so happy. He thinks he's going to get a fight with a big-name guy and prove how good he is. And what does Carl Frampton do? Oh, I'm not fighting Rigondeaux. I'm going up to 126. I'm moving up in weight. All right? Now, what disgusts me the most about this is that uh, not even just that the fighters are ducking him. What disgusts me the most is that fans try to co-sign this shit and justify the behavior of these fighters doing this to another fighter. I don't care how much money he brings to the table. That's not my concern as a boxing fan. As a boxing fan, what is of my concern is who is the best in that division. Okay? Any particular division, who is the best? And I've been consistent about that for years on my channel. So that's what happened to Guillermo Rigondeaux. And Rigondeaux does have some other issues. He has horrible handlers. He had bad management, and things of that nature. That's all true, absolutely. But that does not excuse Leo Santa Cruz for admitting to ducking Guillermo Rigondeaux. That does not excuse Kiko Martinez. That does not excuse Scott Quigg. It does not excuse Carl Frampton's behavior. These men were champions, and they refused to fight a guy who had two belts. So fuck them. I would never respect those guys. Never. Never respect them. Okay? So, now let's talk about, now that we have established, everything I said was fact. Nothing I said was my opinion. Everything I said about Guillermo Rigondeaux was fact that I could prove through documentation in this video. I just don't feel like having to edit the fucking video, putting pictures every fucking time I say something. So you're going to have to do your own goddamn research here. Everything I said about Rigo was fact. All right? So now that that's established, as boxing fans, that is a fact of what happened to Guillermo Rigondeaux. Let's now talk about Gennady Golovkin. Okay? For years, I have been one of the people calling out the bullshit of fighters ducking Gennady Golovkin. Okay? I have videos on my page to prove it. I've been talking about this for years. Felix Strum, former middleweight champion, want no parts of Gennady Golovkin. Ducked him. Okay? Sergio Martínez, former champion, wanted no parts of Gennady Golovkin. Ducked the shit out of him. Right? Miguel Cotto wanted no parts of Gennady Golovkin. Ducked the shit out of him. All right? Peter Quillin wanted no parts of Gennady Golovkin. Ducked him. Danny Jacobs wanted no parts of Gennady Golovkin. Won't say nothing about him. Just ducked him. Okay? Canelo Álvarez is now currently ducking Gennady Golovkin. And let's not forget Billy Ho Saunders, who ducked Gennady Golovkin and now is acting like he's interested in fighting Triple G. Fine. We can play these pussy games if y'all want to, but y'all know what I'm talking about. All of these people in the middleweight division, because that's what we're talking about here. I want y'all to remain focused. I know that focus is a hard thing for today's society, but let's focus for a minute. At middleweight, where Gennady Golovkin is champion, he is being ducked by other champions and other top middleweights. That is a fact. Am I lying? It's a fact, correct? Is inexcusable what's happening to Gennady Golovkin at middleweight. What they're doing to him, okay? At middleweight. Because the state of boxing now, we have a lot of pussies, right? Fans co-sign this behavior because, this is what guys did, all right? And this all ties into the question that the brother asked me about the race war going on in the YTBC, okay? It all ties in, and I'm going to bring it all together here, okay? You see how I can come on here, and I have been for years, fighting for the respect of guys like Andre Ward, fighting for the respect of Guillermo Rigondeaux, fighting for the respect of Gennady Golovkin, all right? Since I have been doing that, you see how I can come on here and acknowledge how all these guys are ducking Triple G. And I just acknowledged how all those guys were ducking Guillermo Rigondeaux, right? This is where the bullshit race war pops in. You will have a double standard because some members of the YouTube boxing community or boxing fans in general, they will say, yeah, Golovkin's being ducked, right? He's being ducked. But then when you point out that Rigondeaux is being ducked as well, that's where we lose our bond as boxing fans. Because one side doesn't want to be honest about what the fuck is happening here. One side wants to say, no, only my guy that I like is being ducked. Your guy, he's just not a draw. Your guy, Rigondeaux, is just a boring fighter. I can understand why fighters don't want to fight him. He's just like, what the fuck? Are you really that stupid? If we, listen, as boxing fans, if we cannot sit down and be honest with each other and see the parallels here, that both guys are being ducked in their divisions, and then we have to come out as boxing fans and say enough is enough with this ducking shit. If we can't do that together, then this is where the race war bullshit happens. Because then everybody runs to their side of the corner and doesn't come out and says, fuck you, this is what's going on, right? And it's all understandable. This is what's happening. So this is how the shit happens when you have double standards. People can see that Triple G's being ducked, but they don't want to acknowledge that Rigondeaux's being ducked or he's being mistreated, right? And that's where there is a double standard. Okay. I called out Peter Quillin, Danny Jacobs, Andy Lee, Billy Joe Saunders, fucking Sergio Martínez, Miguel Cotto, Canelo. I called out every fucking middleweight you can think of for ducking Triple G. Every one of them, And you know what happens? They'll come and they'll say, yeah, 78, real shit. That's real shit you just said there, 78. All those guys are ducking them. Yeah, man, you keeping it real. All right? Later on, if I criticize Triple G for something outside of middleweight, okay, something else that's going on outside of middleweight, what happens? They say, oh, you're being racist. You're criticizing Triple G because he's white. You see how stupid this shit sounds? This is the immaturity. This is what we have to deal with these stupid-ass boxing fans. When all else fails, play the race card. You see? These people want to be victims and want to feel like everybody's against them, and they'll put it on you as a black person. They'll say, "Oh, the black people are playing victim. The black people are playing the race card." When in reality, it's them. I got all the comments and videos to prove it. A lot of you guys forgot that y'all used to comment on my videos. I took screenshots of all this shit. It's fucking remarkable if you think about it. When I sit back and look at these old videos and old comments and hear what the fuck y'all used to say, and now you're acting brand new, right? I had people get mad at me for calling Billy Joe Saunders Billy Ho Saunders when he openly said that Gennady Golovkin would whoop his ass and Chris Eubank's ass on the same day. So when I called him out for saying some coward shit like that, all right, a middleweight champion, people got angry. And they said, oh, you're criticizing Billy Joe Saunders because he's white. Now, mind you, how the fuck am I criticizing Billy Joe Saunders because he's white when I'm criticizing him for ducking Gennady Golovkin, who's white? What the fuck are you talking about? I don't even think people really think out their arguments before they present them, right? And then the same people saying that I'm being racist are the same people who was in my video comment sections laughing and bigging me up when I was criticizing Peter Quillin and Danny Jacobs and others for not fighting Gennady Golovkin, okay? When I said I would slap the shit out of, or no, I said I would knock out Peter Quillin, right? When I told Peter Quillin I would knock his ass out on video, no response from Peter Quillin, no backlash from the boxing fan. Now, when I say it about Billy Ho Saunders, here comes the backlash. Here comes all these accounts and videos being made about 78 having a double standard and being racist. You see what I mean? It's all bullshit. So I will say this. So all of the young guys in the YTBC who may be discouraged by the immature so-called race war that's going on in the YTBC, and you may feel like you don't want to do any videos because you don't want to be in the middle of this dumb shit. Make your videos, be your fucking self, okay? Fuck what these guys think, fuck what they're saying, because most of this shit that's said about me, they know that they're lying, okay? They know that they're lying because I got the comments to prove them. All of these motherfuckers used to comment on my videos. I told you I took screenshots from a couple years ago, a year and a half ago. All of them, they know what they're saying about me is a lie, but they're regurgitating it anyway. Okay? I'm going to continue to speak the truth and tell you what time it is. The bottom line is this. Rigondeaux's being ducked at 122, and so is Gennady Golovkin being ducked at 160. Now, if you want to talk about what's going on outside those divisions, that's fair game too. Okay? All right? People are saying that Rigondeaux needs to move up in weight. He can't get the fights he wants at 122. He should move up in weight. This is what these fools say. So he doesn't have a right to become undisputed in his own division and have all the belts. He should move up in weight because the guys at his division don't want to fight him. That's what they say. He should move up and fight Lomachenko, right? Why won't Rigondeaux fight Lomachenko, who's in another division higher, right? Why won't Rigondeaux fight Lomachenko? Why won't Rigondeaux do this and that? Okay, that's all fair questions. However, watch this though. Why won't Golovkin move up to fight Ward? Oh no! Oh no! You racist nigger! Oh no! You son of a bitch! Oh you motherfucker! Oh no! You see what I mean? This is what they do. This is what they do. Childish fucking idiots. And they don't even smell their own shit. They can only smell everybody else's shit. They cannot comprehend what's going on and what they're contributing to. We all played a part in being biased and shit like that. I'm not exempt from that. But at least I fucking know when I'm biased. Some of you motherfuckers actually believe you're not fucking biased. You actually believe I'm a real boxing fan and I don't have any biases. This is what's happening here, guys. You see, just to take a side note here. I know this is supposed to be about Rigondeaux, Golovkin, and the bullshit race war, right? But just take a look at this. Terrence Crawford keeps being asked to move up in weight. A guy who hasn't become undisputed in his division. He needs to move up in weight, they say, right? Floyd Mayweather, who went through 5 different weight classes, they say he needs to move up even more to fight Triple G or fight somebody, right? Andre Ward, who was the king at 168, should move up and fight Sergey Kovalev, right? Rigondeaux, he should move up to fight Lomachenko. But that's all fine to them to suggest this stuff. But if you say, okay, maybe so, but don't you think Golovkin should move up to fight Andre Ward, since Golovkin and his team have been the only people talking about him moving up to 168 to fight Carl Froch and Chavez Jr. and Mikhail Kessler? Nobody asked Golovkin to move up. His team is suggesting this. His team said, we can beat anybody from 154 to 175. Then that changed to, we can beat anybody from 154 to 168. Then that changed to, we could beat anybody from 154 to 168 if the price is right. You see what I mean? They keep adjusting and changing their story, and nobody's forcing this guy to do this. He is the one keep talking about 168, his team, Triple G's team. All right? So I don't understand how boxing fans cannot comprehend this unless you're just a secretly racist, biased person. All right? You know, and I don't understand this. You people come out here and you attack channels calling people black tards, calling people the black channels, the Black Panther channels. Whenever you do shit like that, you're forming a separation in the YTBC. And it's not black people that are doing it, it's you. Pay attention to what you guys are saying. Oh, the black channels, all the black channels are saying this, and the black tards. Like, what the? It's you, okay? So let's just be adult about it. If you're a racist, I have no problem with that. You can be a racist all you fucking want. I have no desire to change your opinion or make you like me or none of that shit. You can be whoever the fuck you want to be. This America, Jack. Right? Be whoever the fuck you want to be. But just be honest about who the fuck you are. You know? Be honest about who you are. If you don't like black fighters, if you like white fighters more than black fighters or non-black fighters more than black fighters, then just say that so we know where you stand and you can, okay, just do your own thing. But stop coming on here pretending like you're some real boxing fan, in some exclusive club where it's just me and the real boxing fans who just all happen to be white. And we don't like you Black Panther channels because you're all biased. Get the fuck out of here. This is why your channels suck. Not one of you guys has a major big channel because of this type of bullshit you guys are spewing. This is why. It's petty, whining, crying bullshit. And all the projection you guys do is so disgusting. All the projection. Oh, the black channels are biased. The black channels have a problem with Triple G because he's white. But even though I don't like Rigondeaux, and I don't like Mayweather, and I don't like Adrian Broner, it's not because they're black. It's just because I'm a true boxing fan, and I have the ability and brain capacity to really and properly judge fights and judge character, because I'm white and I have that privilege. But blacks and Negroes don't have the ability to criticize non-blacks without having some type of racial bias. Fuck out of here, okay, please? Well, this video just got boring. I thought I had some more shit to say, but I really don't feel like talking no more. So I guess I will blaze one more time, shall we? Damn, 32 minutes, huh? Talking for a while. Let me see if I can do a long-ass Thunderdome video. See if I can do that. So, ladies and gentlemen, that's pretty much what's going on here, okay? When you ask about the YTBC race war and all this stuff, it's really about double standards, okay? It's about us as boxing fans. See, about a year and a half, 2 years ago, we all could talk as boxing fans. I'm talking about all different channels. We would all talk to each other in the comment sections and comment on each other's videos and shit like that. But what happened is, because of this double standard, okay, the Mayweather-Pacquiao fight, I cannot say it enough, okay, had a huge effect on the YTBC, the Mayweather-Pacquiao fight. So many channels were surviving off of Mayweather versus Pacquiao, okay, and the rivalry of therein. And they were saying that if Mayweather fought Pacquiao, he would lose and blah, blah, blah. Pacquiao was the guy who was supposed to beat Floyd Mayweather, okay? That didn't happen, all right? And it didn't happen. Mayweather won the fight. So instead of people moving on and just saying, hey, we lost, get over it, they are now have this chip on their shoulder, and anybody that is black and anybody that is liked by anyone who liked Mayweather prior, for instance, let me put it this way. If I liked Mayweather, right, and I was considered to be a Flomo, and now I like a fighter named Kenny Walker or some shit, right? Then these other channels will immediately attack Kenny Walker because they're still mad about Mayweather. This is what's happening. I'm telling you guys. I'm the only person who's going to tell you this. Everybody else is full of shit and scared to tell you the truth. I'm telling you, this is what's going on with this YTBC race war shit. It's the after effects, the aftershock of the Mayweather-Pacquiao situation where people are angry. Now Triple G's a good fighter. He's doing well. And a lot of his followers want people to like him, right? They don't want him to take any type of criticism. He can do no wrong. But yet, these people spent 5 years bashing Mayweather fans and calling them Flomos for doing the same exact thing. Okay? So, sometimes we reap what we sow. Sometimes we create a monster, all right? And we have to look at ourselves in the mirror and decide who the fuck are we, okay? All right? Because everything you guys are doing right now as Triple G fans, all right, and newcomers as well. Like I said, because A couple years ago, I didn't see none of you motherfuckers. But now you're here anyway, and you're Triple G fans. So whatever it is that you want people to love about Triple G and not criticize Triple G, he can do no wrong. Stop doing that. You got an excuse for every fucking criticism. Every criticism of Triple G, you guys have an excuse for it. And if that's fine. If you want to be a fanboy, be a fanboy. Nothing wrong with it. I was a Mike Tyson fanboy. You can be a fanboy for Triple G. But just don't stop running around calling people black tars and flow-mos when you do exactly the same thing for the opposite side. Jesus fucking Christ. I don't know how you don't understand this. Like, this is what I mean about racism. Because in your mind, you're right because you're white. Think about that for a minute. In your mind, you're right because you're white. Even to the point where you will police other people's channels and give a critique off of every video that a black person makes. And feel the need to go behind him and correct what he's saying. And give your theses of what he's saying. Give your opinion as to what it is, what the truth is. Because what he said couldn't be the truth. And I love this part of the YTBC. I just love this part. This is always hilarious. When people come on and say, my opinion needs to be respected. Why can't people respect my opinion? I mean, I have a right to my opinion. You absolutely do have a right to your opinion, sir. But you don't fool me with that bullshit, because this is what happens. You say your opinion needs to be respected, and everyone should respect the next person's opinion. Everyone has a right to their opinion. Well, if you respected everyone's opinion, you wouldn't even have a channel. Because every video I see from you guys is bashing and criticizing a so-called black channel, a so-called black tard channel. Right? Every fucking video is criticizing someone else's opinion as to what's going on with boxing, who's going to win a fight, what's going on with these negotiations. You feel the need to be the teacher. Okay, you feel the need to come in and push your white supremacy attitude all around in the YTBC, and that's the problem. I'm shocked at some of these guys. Oh, these people, these black channels don't like Triple G. These black channels don't like Triple G because he's white. Are you fucking serious? The nerve of you guys to say this when you spent 5-6 years bashing this guy Floyd Mayweather. The nerve of you guys to say this. And you had an excuse for bashing Mayweather. You said, oh, well, I'm only bashing him because I don't like the fact that he's cocky, he's arrogant, and he's a woman beater. Okay, well, Andre Ward doesn't do any of that. Okay? Why don't you like him? Oh, I don't like him because he doesn't knock people out. Okay, well, Deontay Wilder knocks people out. Why don't you like him? Why are you bashing him too? See, guys, you got to be honest with yourself. Okay? You got to be honest with yourself. And like I said, if you're a racist, it's fine. I don't care. You can be whoever you want to be, but be honest about who you are. You see? I'm honest about who I am. I'm a proud black man. I don't give a fuck who like it, who don't like it. I love black fighters. All right? I like a lot of other fighters. Miguel Cotto, he was one of my favorite fighters. Fernando Vargas is one of my favorite fighters of all time. Mike Tyson is my favorite fighter of all time. Okay? And then when I'm watching the fight between Deontay Wilder and motherfucking Alexander Povetkin, I want Deontay Wilder to win for 2 reasons. One, because he is an American heavyweight champion, something that I need. 2, because he looks like me. I can relate to him. Now, if that's racist to you, then too fucking bad. But at least I can admit it. All right? And you will never admit that shit. You guys will never come on here and say, I like Triple G or I like Kovalev because he looks like my dad or my uncle. I can relate to him. You will never do that because you have to put up this fucking front. So, good riddance. 78 Sports TV here. I holla.